Transcript reading. We put a copy of the transcripts in there. You can always find a copy of the transcripts inside of the software. Here's our CSET calculator. So you can see if the IRS is computing it correctly or not. Okay, so when you go into a client here, you'll always see what's going on. You come over here to the transcripts. You can see hide the zeros, hide unfiled returns if you want to. You can see where the unfiled returns are. The 25 was not filed yet. So let's hide that too for this purpose. And you can see what the balances are. So you're talking to the client, you get their 8821, this is what you download. Go to downloads. One of the things I was just discussing with when you get the 8821 or the 2848, these are the defaults we use in our software. These are the defaults I use in my practice. I go back to the year 2000 because you can get the first time abatement every 4 years, starting with the year 2000. If you don't like the defaults, you could change the defaults to whatever you want them to be. You're not going to hurt my feelings. So that's there. You can get them to sign it, put it in their portal. Do not ever email the 2848 because their social security number is on it. Coming back over here, this is the calculator where you can see what the CSET is. This is what the IRS thinks the CSET is. This is what we think it is. Oh wait, this is what we think it is. We agree with them. In some cases, Control Center, under reports, you can find out those of us that we don't, what periods we don't agree with. For warning here, you can see that the IRS thinks it's in August. We think it's in October. This mistake's in our favor. So because I don't want this client to sue me, I'm not going to call the IRS and let them know that the IRS made a mistake. But sometimes it's the other way around, and you're going to want to defend your client and get them fixed up that way. When you're talking about, returns that are missing, here is the last 10 years of income. If you want to impress your client, you can hand them this report and say, hey, look, what's going on with your income? Should we expect it to be different next year? Differences. I haven't talked to you since last year, sir, but I was looking at your, you hired us to do Ian, to monitor your transcripts maybe. So you can come in here and say, hey, look, 23 return. I was noticing when I was reviewing your 23 return that, the $26 of interest income was reported to the IRS, but you put 0 on your return. So let's not forget it this year. It's $26. I'm actually not going to discuss it with my client. But if it's a big number, I might want to do that with, my client and let them know that there's $120,000 of something that they forgot off or whatever it is. This gives you opportunities to, if you have that 8821, it gives you opportunities to help your client out and show them what they're paying you for. Remember, the #1 complaint about all accountants is that we're not proactive. So this is kind of being proactive when you think about it. You forgot interest. You might get audited. Hopefully everybody knows about how to set up monitoring. As I was telling you, this is where I had a client that I had a member that was talking to me the other day about, they said, I have payments that I made, but it's not showing up on, I don't think the IRS counted all of my payments. I can just come over here and say, you know what? Here you go. These are all the payments that the IRS has for you on record. Tell me which payments I forgot. I could either give them to print this out for them this way, or I could export it to Excel. And they can go through the list themselves. I hope she does it that way. First time abatement, do I qualify for first time abatement? The green means probably I do. Yellow means I have a penalty abatement for the previous year. I don't know if it was due to reasonable cause or if it was the first time abatement. If it was the first time abatement, I'm not going to qualify for it because I already got the first time abatement. You remember, you're allowed a first time abatement every 4 years, but you must have the previous 3 years clean. So we might qualify for an abatement here. Gives you opportunity to discuss things with your client. And then bankruptcy, this will tell us the first state that they qualify for a bankruptcy discharge. They can get everything through 21 discharged here, but this 22 taxes is not dischargeable till October of this year. So you might want to warn them. We never tell clients, unless you're an attorney, that they qualify for bankruptcy. We're not legal, so most of us are not attorneys. Most of us do not give legal advice. But you can work with the attorney and help the attorney with these issues. We have a letter here that you would give to the client to give to their attorney. Bankruptcy discharge available. So it just gives them some information so they can give it to their attorney. A lot of attorneys don't know what they're doing when it comes to the IRS. In more than one case during my career, I have had to help attorneys deal with this. Meaning the attorney would call me and say, hey, I accidentally did a bankruptcy 2 weeks early on my client.